Hello，你好，Welcome back，欢迎回来to Wisdom Wednesday with Johnny Tiger on May 10th, 2023. A quick announcement. Tomorrow I will be very, very busy, so most likely we are not going to get a Toys Thursday tomorrow. Uh, but I'll definitely try to get that done Friday. Friday will be pretty busy too, but a lot less so, less chaotic anyway. But good news is tomorrow will be the grand opening for the art show that will be featuring my artwork um, at the Italian Cultural Center here in Vancouver, British Columbia. So, for those of you who are interested, uh, come by and join us at the grand opening, which will be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Italian Cultural Center Art Gallery. There you will see my artwork and artwork by a lot of other disabled artists as well. Some of the artwork, mine included, will be available for purchase. So yeah, definitely do drop by and say hello. So today, I want to do an episode that is not going to be overly complicated or long. I know, I say that every time, but I want to give us a glimpse into the Chinese family hierarchy system. Believe me when I tell you that Chinese family system is very complicated, convoluted, and needlessly uh, perplexing in many ways. In Western culture, you have your cousin, you have your uncle, you have aunt, and that's basically all the vocabularies you need to know. Uh, in addition to parents, grandparent, grandma, granddad, grandfather, grandmother, and all that stuff. Uh, the rest is all uncles, auntie, cousins, nephews, nieces. In Mandarin, in Chinese culture, there's a different vocabulary depending on which side of the family this uncle is on. For example, we are not going to go through it all today, but I'm going to just give you guys an example. Um, on the father's side, your uncle is called 叔叔, and if that uncle is older than your father, then it's called 伯伯. If it's younger, then it's called 叔叔. And if it's uh, uncle on your mother's side, then it's called 舅舅. If it's your father's brothers, so if it's the wife of your 叔叔, uh, then it's called 婶婶. If it's the wife of your 舅舅, aka your mother's brother, then it's called 舅妈. So yeah, like there's a lot more vocabularies invented for uh, each family member in Chinese lingual that like almost everybody have their place. Everybody have their particular vocabulary. So usually when you hear uh, someone say this is your so and so, it's not going to be confusing. Like in the English system, sometimes when someone say, "Hey, this is your Uncle Joe," and you're like, "Uncle Joe? Is that my uncle? Is that my uncle from my mom's side? Is that my uncle from my father's side, or is that my father's cousin? Who is this Uncle Joe?" Well, in Mandarin, usually when you hear say 叔叔, 舅舅, 伯伯, 婶婶, like right away you know where to place this person in the family tree, in the family hierarchy. And then if we add on to that from various different regions of China, like Shanghai or northern China or Xinjiang province or Taiwan or Canton, they all have their little dialect, and in their little dialect, they have their own variations of these outlines, these family outlines, these family uh, designations. Like some places in Taiwan, for example, we call our grandma. uh, we call them 外婆, but in northern China, I think they're called 姥姥. So it's the same thing, but they have different vocabularies for them. Yeah, confusing yet? Yeah, it is very confusing. I grew up speaking my language, and I still get confused sometimes. Um, but we are going to take one step back and just talk about relatives as a whole, a, generalization today. We are not going to go too deep into this because honestly, this is just way too complicated. And most of you who, unless you were born in this culture, in my culture, most likely you will get really frustrated and confused if we start going into all the vocabularies. So we'll stick to relatives. The the vocabulary in Mandarin for relatives is an interesting one. It's called 亲戚. 亲戚. Okay, you will hear this a lot. You will probably use this a lot if you plan on speaking Mandarin. If I tell you, this is my 亲戚, that means saying this is my relative. If you say uh, I'm going to go visit my 亲戚, that means I'm going to visit my relatives. Uh, it's spelled Chingchi, 亲戚. The interesting thing is, even a lot of people who grew up speaking Mandarin, who grew up spending time with their 亲戚, who grew up visiting with or visited by their 亲戚, who grew up just hearing this word almost every day, a lot of us don't know the origin of what this is really about. What is 亲戚 exactly? Okay, how does it break down? What's the etymology of the word 亲戚? So today we are going to start from here. 亲戚. The phrase or word 亲戚 is obviously made out of two syllables, 亲 and 戚. How do we explain 亲戚? 亲 means 内亲, uh, aka the people who are closest to you. In Chinese culture, this is the family member on your father's side of the thing, people who generally share your last name. Okay, so these are 内亲. 内 means close, right? 内 and 亲 means related. Okay, and 气, uh, 气, the second word in 亲戚 is 外戚. 外戚. 外 means outsider. 气 means to cast away. Okay, so 外戚. This is your second branch of your family, the more remotely related to you, aka in Chinese culture, this qi means anybody who's on your mother's side of the family. Okay, so just to make it less complicated, always remember this: qin means father side, qi means mother side. An interesting little trivia that we probably mentioned this before. During Chinese New Year, there are many ceremonies, many rules you have to follow. And one of the rule is on the first day of New Year is when you visit your qin. Okay, this is when you 探亲. 探亲 means to visit with your qin. Means the first day of the New Year is reserved to spend with your father's side of the family. And then the second and the third day after New Year, the second and third, they are when you go to your qi, when you go to visit with your mother's side of the family. So first day is for father side of the family, and the second day or third day for mother side of the family. Now, some people may say, well, see, this is a proof of Chinese people being chauvinistic and sexist. Why you guys put father side first in qinqi? You know, qinqi. Qin is the father side and qi is the mother side. So you put the male side first in the word, and then in Chinese New Year, you visit the male side first. So it's proof that qin is more important than qi. Interestingly enough, if you think that is the case, you would be wrong. Because historically, it has been proven many times that Chinese people actually thought qi being a lot more important than qin. Uh, and this is reflected, for example, throughout Chinese history. If there's a dispute in inheritance, if there's a dispute in marriage, if there's a dispute in family affair, settlement, estates, ownership, stuff like that, the person who have to mediate, the person who have to preside over the dispute have to be an uncle from your mother's side, have to be a qi. It cannot be a qin. Reason being that most dispute evolve or revolve around people of the same family name. So if you are arguing over inheritance, most likely you're arguing over inheritance against your brother, not even sister, because in Chinese tradition, unless your sister is unmarried, if they're married, they automatically disqualified from inheriting. Um, but most likely the people that's going to be fighting with you would be people that share your family name. So your father's side of the people, your father's side of the family would be your worst enemy in any kind of land dispute or any kind of inheritance dispute. While your mother's side of the family, because they are outsiders, they're not entitled to inherit anything from your father's side of the family. So their view would be the most uh, central. They are the best witness. They are the best decision maker, and they are the most fair because they don't have anything to gain in most cases. So throughout Chinese history, even though Qin is viewed to be closer because these are people that you share family name with, Qi are the people who act often will be your best ally, your biggest supporter, because they don't have any financial gains, they don't have any stock in the fight, they don't have any dog in the fight, in other words. So they are the most fair in this kind of situation. And this has been reflected again and again from uh, dispute, like I said, land, food, distribution of resources, and allocation of inheritance for the civilians, and then it escalates all the way up into the royal family. Even emperors understood that qi were a lot more important to them than qin. Most of you that have been paying attention to Chinese history know that the Qing dynasty was the first official dynasty that united China about 2,600 years ago, when Qin Shi Huang, the guy who built the guy who uh, commanded for the Great Wall to be built, uh, united the entire China under the Qing dynasty. Okay, so the Qing dynasty only was able to unite the entire China again because of the Qi family line of the emperor. When the emperor prior to Qin Shi Huang was trying to unite, well, first when he was trying to become emperor, he had a lot of brothers and uncles from his father's side of the family that were trying to become emperor as well. But his mother, her brother, so his uncle from his mother's side, happened to be the general that had power over the military. So uh, he ended up becoming emperor because his uncle from his mother's side supported him and was able to mobilize the army against his Qin relatives, his father's side of the family. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to become the emperor of Qing dynasty. Um, and then after that, this uncle from his mother's side, ended up serving him for the rest of his life, and every war that he waged against the other kingdoms were basically led and orchestrated and carried out by this uncle. So without this Qi uncle, without this uncle on his mother's side, the Qing dynasty probably wouldn't have been able to get a firm foundation and be able to unite all the other kingdoms and create the first unified dynasty in China. So this is just one of the many, many historical examples of emperors end up relying on their qi relatives to do their bidding. Why is that? Why do the emperors have better rapport with their qi than their qin? Well, again, let's think back to what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. When you have any kind of dispute over inheritance, money, land, fields, housemaids, houses, buildings, businesses, who are the people that's going to be disputing against you? Usually, these are people from your father's side, your brother, your cousin, your uncle, from your father's side, everyone who share your last name. So let's say if you are emperor and your last name is Li, then you definitely can't trust anybody with a Li last name. Because anybody in the royal family that have a Li last name is going to want you dead, so they can become the emperor, right? So in this case, your only really reliable allies falls to your qi side of your relative, your mother's side of the relative, because these people they have no claim to the throne. Even if they murder you, they are not going to be able to get your throne. They can't become emperor because, if the if the dynasty, if the throne belongs to the Li family, then let's say your mother's last name is Wang, and she's from the Wang family. Well, then no one from the Wang family can succeed you, even if they kill you. So they don't have any good reason to want you dead. In fact, they actually have more reason to want you to succeed because, well, if you are an emperor and your last name is Li, and I am your uncle, but my last name is Wang, well, if I kill you, I don't get anything out of it. If someone else kill you, I don't get anything out of it. So my best course of action is to make sure you succeed because I'm your uncle. I'm your uncle. So if I help you, you can help me. So by keeping you happy, keeping you successful, then all the family from your mother's side can get some benefit out of it. So this is why traditionally emperors always rely heavily on the qi side of the family, and they almost always murder their entire qin side of the family, their father side of the family, because those are the people that want to succeed them. Now, it's not all peaches and sugars and spice either, because there was a long-standing uh, tradition that the emperor, while he was alive, he would be very generous with his qi side of the family, with his aunt and uncle from his mother's side of the family, cousins from his mother's side of the family. However, this blessing would one day turn into a curse because a lot of emperors traditionally would kill off their qi side of the family before they themselves die and their son succeeds them and become the next emperor. This gruesome practice seems totally ridiculous, but actually was grounded in logic. Let's look at why this was done. So some people are wondering, okay, if the emperor spent his whole life relying on the qi side of the family, the mother side of the family, so why does he turn on them before he pass his throne onto his own son? Why do that? Well, it's a sad but very logical reason. To make it a little bit easier to understand, let me tell you this. Qin, okay, your father's side of the family, and of course, we are all talking about like in the bounds of Chinese culture. I can't speak for your culture or like every other culture might be different. But strictly speaking, Chinese culture, Qin side of the family never change. Okay, they may be your enemy. They may want to fight for inheritance. They may want to kill you, but it never change. Okay, if if I am Tai. My last name is Tai. My father's last name is Tai. So my Qin side of the family is Tai. When I have a son, my son last name is Tai. So the Tai family will always be my son's Qin, no matter what, unless unless something really stupid happened, like if I have a son and my son decides he doesn't want to be Thai, his name is not Thai anymore, then okay, well, in cases like that, then it's a little bit more fluid, wonky. But generally speaking, okay, without that kind of weirdness going on, because that's more of a modern affectation. Throughout Chinese history, it's just really frowned upon to ditch your family name. If you ditch your family name, a lot of time you will get put to death by magistrate or emperors. It's just a big no-no, taboo. You don't do that. Okay, um, so Qin never change, right? Thai family, Thai family, Thai family. My grandfather is Thai, my father is Thai, me is Thai, my brothers are Thai, my son will be Thai, my grandson will be Thai, right? Lee family, same thing, right? If my last name is Lee, my grandfather is Lee, my father is Lee, my uncles are Lee, my brothers would be Lee, my son would be Lee, and so on and so on. So your Qin never change. But qi changes every generation. Some people are thinking, no, that doesn't make sense. How can your qi change? Well, okay, qi. Remember, qi is your mother side of the family. Okay, so if my mother last name is Wu, then my qi are the Wu family. Wu family are my uncles and aunties, my favorite cousins, and all that stuff. They they are here to help me, right? If I'm the emperor, even though I'm the Thai emperor, but because my qi are Wu family, the Wu family will help me. However, when I have a child, when my son grow up, the Wu family, they're not his chi. They're not his chi. Because his chi would be whoever the family is, that's from my wife side of the family. So let's say if I marry a woman whose last name is Wang, then the Wang family is my son's chi. And I know it's a little bit complicated, but if you guys stop and think about it, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because she is always your mother side of the family. It doesn't say your grandmother side of the family, doesn't say your aunt side of the family. It's always your mother side of the family. Very specific. Okay, so um, when when I am emperor, then the Wu family, who are my qi, they will be helping me. But when my son become emperor, then the Wu family have no connection to him because they are not his chi. His chi is the Wang family, my wife's family, right? So now, if my chi, if my Wu family chi is still in charge of the military, is still in charge of policy making, it's going to make a lot of problem for my son, right? When my son become the emperor, he need his own chi to help him, because my chi, my Wu family chi, have nothing to do with him. So this is why emperors traditionally will kill off their chi before they pass the throne onto their children. This is to clear the way for their children, so their chi will not uh, be in the way and interfere with the next generation. The next generation have their own chi. They got to use their own chi. So this is the reason for that. Now, if you still find this really hard to understand or really hard to stomach, just think about this. How close are you with your mom's siblings and your mom's siblings' children? I bet you are a lot closer to your mom's siblings and your mom's siblings' children than you are with your grandma's siblings or their children. Or how about your great grandma? Do you even know their sibling or their sibling children? Probably not. Okay, so this is why qi is different every generation. You are close to your mom's family, and your children will be close to your wife's family, and their children will be close to their wife's family. So it doesn't stay the same. Okay, so this is why I say it's a sad but logical thing that the emperors have to do this, clearing the way for their own children to succeed them. I did promise to keep this simple and keep this short, but look at this. It's definitely not that simple and it's not overly short. But I think this is a good place to start. Qinqi, qinqi. Next time your parent and your relative try to hit you over the head with these words, qinqi, because Chinese family like to hit each other over the head. I'm your qinqi. You have to listen to me. Ask them, what do you know about qinqi? Where did the word qinqi come from? And see if they know the answer.